Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026.
Glad to be here.
This is a special one. We are continuing our series for Black History Month, and today we've reached episode 7.
And we're looking at something a little different today.
Yeah, we're looking at a specific kind of magic. We are looking at, well, the power of place.
The power of place is a fascinating concept. Usually when we talk about history or excellence, we're talking about eras or maybe movements.
Like abstract ideas.
Exactly. But sometimes you really have to look at geography. You have to pull up a map and just ask, why here?
Exactly. Why does lightning strike the same spot not once, not twice, but 3 times? And we're not talking about some massive metropolis here.
No, not at all.
We aren't talking about Los Angeles or New York City or even downtown Atlanta. We are zooming in on Rutherford County, Tennessee.
And specifically one school.
Specifically, we are standing, metaphorically, at the front doors of Blackman High School.
It's a remarkable case study. I mean, if you look at the history of athletics in that region, you'd expect talent to be spread out, right? Diffused across the county.
Of course. There are plenty of great schools in Tennessee.
Plenty. But what we found in the research for this deep dive is a concentration of excellence. That is, well, it's statistically improbable. We're looking at 3 distinct legends.
3 different guys.
3 different guys. They played 3 different sports, but they all share that one alma mater.
It creates this incredible Venn diagram of talent. It's the 3 pillars of black men.
That's a good way to put it.
We have David Price, the baseball icon who just dominated the mound.
The pioneer.
Then you have Juwan Jennings, the multi-sport weapon who became a Super Bowl history maker.
The fire, the competitor.
And then Master Teague III, the football workhorse, who really redefined what it means to be a student athlete.
The foundation of discipline.
So the mission for us today is clear, isn't it? We are not just going to read their stat lines.
No, anyone can look up a batting average or, a rushing yard total on Wikipedia. That's not what we do here.
We want to understand the timeline. We want to understand the legacy. We want to see how a tradition was built from the moment that school opened its doors in 2000 right up to the present day.
It's a story that unfolds over 2 decades.
3 athletes,
Yeah.
3 sports, 1 legacy. It's a trifecta that honestly shouldn't exist in one building, but it does. So let's unpack this.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so we have to start at the beginning, and I mean the absolute beginning.
Can't start anywhere else.
You just can't tell the story of Blackman High School's legacy without talking about the pioneer. We're talking about David Price.
David Price is the foundation, and that's literally and figuratively. When we look at the timeline, it's almost poetic.
How so?
Well, David Taylor Price was born right there in Murfreesboro on August 26, 1985. But the crucial date for our story, for this deep dive, isn't his birthday. It's the year 2000.
That is the year Blackman High School opened its doors, right?
Precisely. The school opens in 2000. It's brand new. The paint is still drying on the walls,
Right, that new school smell.
Exactly. And who walks in that very same year as part of the inaugural class? David Price. He is part of the initial fabric of the institution. He attends from 2000 to 2004.
So he wasn't just a student walking the halls of some established powerhouse.
No. He helped establish the identity of the place. He became a local legend almost immediately. We're talking about a kid who was, 15, 16 years old and already the talk of the town.
It's so rare that you get to see the birth of a legacy in real time like that. Usually a star player joins a program that already has 10 state championship trophies in the case.
Right, they're just the next chapter.
But Price, he was filling an empty trophy case.
He was the one buying the polish for the glass, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he set a standard of excellence that I think permeated the walls of that school for the next 2 decades. But here's where it gets really interesting for me. We often assume that the path to stardom is a straight line. You get good, you get drafted, you go pro. But Price made a decision right out of high school that I think defines his entire character.
This is the moment that always boggles my mind when I look back at his career. 2004, he's graduating. He's this tall, lanky lefty with a rocket for an arm.
The scouts are drooling. Every team wants a guy like that.
And the Los Angeles Dodgers come calling.
The Dodgers. I mean, one of the most storied franchises in baseball history. They draft him in the 19th round.
Okay, let's pause there. The 19th round isn't the first round.
No, it's not. But for a high school kid, it's a ticket. It is a contract offer. It's real money on the table. Immediately.
A life-changing amount for an 18-year-old.
He could have signed. He could have gone straight to the minor leagues, taken the signing bonus, and started the grind up the ladder.
Most 18-year-olds If you wave a check in their face and say, go play professional baseball,
Yeah.
they are signing that paper before you finish the sentence.
Absolutely, no hesitation. But Price turned them down, and we really have to analyze the why here. This wasn't arrogance.
Yeah.
It was calculation. It was foresight. He bet on his own development. He looked at the roadmap and said, I'm not ready to ride buses in A-ball yet. I want to be surgical. I want to get better.
He knew he had a higher ceiling.
He knew he wasn't a finished product. And that self-awareness it's just incredible for a kid that age.
So he turns down the Dodgers, and he chooses Vanderbilt University, which, for those who follow college baseball, is not just a school, that is a factory.
It's a laboratory for pitchers. And you have to understand the timing. This is the beginning of the Tim Corbin era at Vandy. Corbin is a legendary coach.
The pitching guru.
The guru of gurus. By choosing Vanderbilt, Price wasn't just delaying his pro career. He was entering a master class in pitching mechanics, in strategy, in the mental side of the game.
So in high school, you can just get by on talent.
Right. In high school, you can blow a fastball past kids just because you're 6'6" and athletic. But at Vanderbilt, in the SEC, everyone is athletic. Price had to develop the technical nuance that would make him a superstar.
And when you say technical nuance, what are we talking about specifically? Is it just throwing harder? A better curveball?
It's more than that. It's the deception. It's the arm slot. Price is a tall lefty, right? But he developed this ability at Vandy to hide the ball behind his hip until the very last millisecond.
The batter can't pick it up.
It makes it incredibly hard for the batter to pick up the spin, see what's coming. So he's throwing 96, 97 miles per hour, but to the batter, because they pick it up so late, it looks like it's 105.
It's perceived velocity.
That's the term. And it's deadly. He learned how to command his fastball to both sides of the plate. He developed a devastating slider. He wasn't just throwing, he was pitching.
So he goes to Vandy, he refines this deadly mechanic with a legendary coach, and the results are, well, they're pretty much instant.
Instant and overwhelming. Fast forward to May 2007. He is named the SEC Pitcher of the Year.
And the SEC is. That's the big leagues of college baseball.
It is arguably the most competitive conference in the country. It's essentially AAA baseball with aluminum bats. To dominate that conference is a huge statement. But he didn't stop there.
Of course not.
A month later, on June 22, 2007, he wins the Golden Spikes Award.
Okay, for the listener who might not be a baseball diehard, give us the context on the Golden Spikes. Is that like the Heisman Trophy?
It is exactly the Heisman Trophy for baseball. It honors the best amateur baseball player in the entire nation. Not just pitchers, everybody.
So think about that gamble he took in 2004.
Right. He turned down the Dodgers to bet on himself. 3 years later, he isn't just a good prospect, he is the undisputed best player in the country.
What were his numbers like that year?
Ludicrous. He struck out 194 batters in 133 innings that year. That's almost 1.5 strikeouts per inning. That is pure video game stuff.
So the bet paid off, big time.
And that gamble paid off immediately in the draft. The 2007 MLB draft.
June 7, 2007.
He is drafted #1 overall by the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah. You cannot get higher than that. The difference between 19th round money and #1 overall money is it's life-changing. It's generational wealth.
And add validation for his choice.
Total validation. But what is truly fascinating to me is the speed of his ascent after that draft. Usually baseball is a slow grind. Even #1 picks can spend years in the minors.
Right, you hear about guys coiling away for 3, 4, 5 years.
Not David Price.
No.
He makes his MLB debut on September 14th, 2008.
Wait, let me just do the math there. Drafted June 2007. Debut September 2008. That's, what, 15 months?
It's barely over a year. It is incredibly fast. He essentially skipped the line because he was that polished, that ready. He didn't need a lot of seasoning.
And it gets even crazier.
A month later, in October 2008, he is pitching in the World Series.
As a rookie.
As a rookie, who had been drafted 16 months prior, he came out of the bullpen and was lights out. He closed out Game 7 of the ALCS against the Boston Red Sox to send the Rays to the World Series.
I remember watching that run. He came out of the bullpen in the playoffs, and he was just electric. The radar gun was popping. The crowd was going nuts. It was like he arrived fully formed.
He did.
Yeah.
He went from a college campus to the biggest stage in professional sports in the blink of an eye. That is a meteoric rise that we rarely see in baseball.
And the trophy case just kept filling up after that.
Oh, yeah. The individual accolades started pouring in. We see here he was an all-star by 2010, and then the big individual honor for a pitcher.
The Cy Young.
November 14th, 2012. He wins the American League Cy Young Award.
The best pitcher in the league.
The absolute best. He beat out Justin Verlander that year, which is no small feat.
Yeah.
That award puts him in the Hall of Very Good immediately, and it starts the Hall of Fame discussion.
And eventually he got the team pinnacle, too.
He did. After moving around a bit, he lands with the Boston Red Sox. And on October 28, 2018, he wins the World Series as a key part of their starting rotation.
So you have the individual greatness, the Golden Spikes, the Cy Young, and you have the championship pedigree. He checked every single box available to a baseball player.
Every single one. But, and I think this is where the Black excellence theme of this deep dive really shines, we can't just stop at baseball.
Right.
If we only talked about his slider or his fastball or his contract numbers, we would be missing half the story. The more important half, arguably.
Right. We have to talk about what he built back home. Because while he was in Tampa and Detroit and Toronto and Boston, his heart was clearly still in Rutherford County.
It never left.
This brings us to the community milestones.
And it starts early, so early. In 2008, right when his MLB career is taking off, remember, he's essentially a rookie. He founds Project 1-4.
Project 1-4. His number was 14, right?
Correct. He didn't wait until he was retired and looking for something to do to start giving back. He started immediately. He leveraged his platform from day one.
And that foundation led to something incredibly tangible. I love this part of the story. The miracle field. Can you explain what that is? Because it's not just a regular baseball diamond.
No, this is a beautiful example of using your platform for specific, thoughtful impact. Not just writing a check, but identifying a real need.
So what was the need?
The need was for accessible recreation. So construction began in 2017, and it opened in 2018 in Murfreesboro. The David Price Miracle Field is a fully accessible baseball and playground complex designed specifically for children and adults with disabilities.
So we're talking about flat surfaces, rubberized turf, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's a custom rubberized surface that allows wheelchairs and walkers to move freely without getting stuck in dirt or grass. The bases are painted on, there are no raised mounds or lips. It removes the physical barriers to the game.
So a kid in a wheelchair can actually round the bases.
They can hit a ball, round the bases, score a run, and get cheered on by their family. So while David Price is winning World Series rings in Boston, he is simultaneously ensuring that kids in his hometown kids who might never have been able to play the game before can experience the joy of the game he loves.
That brings a tear to your eye, honestly. It's one thing to donate to a charity. It's another thing entirely to build a facility that changes the daily life of families in your town.
He didn't just leave a legacy of stats, he physically built a legacy in the community. He ensured that the Blackman name and his own name were synonymous with inclusion and generosity. He set the bar.
That is a high bar to set, a very, very high bar. But as we move down the timeline of Blackman High School, we find another athlete who is ready to meet that standard, albeit with a very different style.
A completely different style. We are moving from the cool, calculated precision of the pitcher's mound to the absolute chaos of the gridiron. We are moving to the fire. We are moving to Juan Jennings.
Juan Jennings. The name just sounds like energy, doesn't it?
It does. Pure energy.
Class of 2015. Born July 10th, 1997. Now, he moved to Murfreesboro as a child, so he wasn't born there like Price, but he certainly made it his home.
He absolutely did. He entered Blackman High in 2011. And if Price was the specialist, the pitcher, the technician Jennings was the ultimate athlete. He was a Swiss Army knife, a two-sport force.
I remember hearing stories about his basketball days. People say he could have gone Division I in hoops easily.
Oh, absolutely. He was a varsity standout in basketball from 2012 to 2015. And think about how those basketball skills translate to football.
The leaping, the body control.
The vertical leap, the body control in the air, the ability to box out a defender for a jump ball, that all comes from the hardwood. But on the football field, he was the guy. He was the quarterback.
The leader.
He led Blackman to deep playoff runs in 2013 and 2014. He was the heart and soul of that team.
That's a key detail. He was a quarterback. The guy calling the plays, holding the ball every single snap. And that's what he was recruited at.
Yeah, correct. He enrolls at the University of Tennessee in the summer of 2015 as a highly touted quarterback, one of the top dual-threat QBs in the nation. He could run, he could throw.
But this is where his story takes a major twist. It becomes a story of adaptation, of resilience.
It does. In August 2015, almost immediately during his first training camp, there is a pivot. The coaching staff comes to him and says, "We need you at wide receiver."
That is not an easy transition. I think people underestimate the ego check involved in that move.
It's huge. You go from being the general, the guy everyone looks at in the huddle, to being, well, a grunt who has to go block a linebacker and run precise routes.
It's a completely different mindset.
It is. You go from touching the ball every play to maybe seeing 5 targets a game if you're lucky. And technically, learning to run routes isn't just run fast and turn left. It's geometry. It's counting your steps. It's reading the hips of the cornerback.
So he had to learn a new position from scratch.
He had to download an entirely new operating system for his body in the middle of the SEC gauntlet against the best defensive backs in the country.
But Jennings,
Yeah.
he seems to thrive on that friction. He loves the contact.
He loves the fight. He has that dog mentality you hear coaches talk about. That's him. And that switch, that willingness to do what the team needed, led to one of the most iconic moments in college football history.
October 1st, 2016, Georgia versus Tennessee.
The Hail Mary. The Dobnail boot.
If you are a Tennessee fan, you know exactly where you were for that play.
Oh, absolutely. Time is expiring. Tennessee is losing. The ball is heaved from midfield into the end zone. It's a prayer. And who comes down with it?
Schwan Jennings.
He outjumped half the Georgia defense, leaped up in a crowd of about 5 guys, and just willed the ball into his hands.
That was the basketball background coming out right there. That was a rebound.
It was absolutely a rebound. It was a perfect example of, I'm jumping higher than you and I want this ball more than you.
Yeah.
That catch cemented him as a legend in Tennessee lore. But
his journey wasn't a straight line of glory.
no. We have to address the low points, too, because they define the resilience. It's easy to be great when things are going well.
Yeah, the timeline shows some real turbulence. There was a dismissal from the team in December 2017. For a minute there, it looked like his college career might be over.
That was a critical juncture. There was a new coaching staff coming in. He had a conflict with the old one. He was injured. He was frustrated. He said some things publicly, and he was kicked off the team.
And he could have folded.
He could have. He could have transferred down to a smaller school or just quit and said, well, I had a good run. Lots of guys would have.
But look at what happens next.
He didn't quit. He went to work. A new coach, Jeremy Pruitt, comes in and gives him a chance. He was reinstated in January 2018.
But he had to earn it all back.
It wasn't just handed to him.
Not at all. He started at the absolute bottom of the depth chart again. He had to prove himself in every practice, every drill. He fought his way back, and he delivered a dominant all-conference senior season in 2019. That resilience is what stands out to me. It's easy to be great when everyone loves you and you're the star quarterback. It's much harder to be great when you had to claw your way back from zero when people have written you off.
And that resilience, that fight, prepared him for the next level because the NFL didn't roll out the red carpet for him either.
No, it did not. He was drafted in the 7th round, pick 217 by the San Francisco 49ers on April 25, 2020.
That is barely getting drafted.
That's Mr. Irrelevant territory almost. You have to fight for a roster spot every single day at that point. There are no guarantees.
And he did. He started on the practice squad. He wasn't even on the active roster at first. His official NFL debut wasn't until September 12th, 2021.
So he spent over a year just grinding in practice.
Just grinding, just showing up every day and proving he belonged. But when he got his shot, he made it count. He became known as a guy on 3rd and 1.
A clutch player.
Whenever the 49ers needed a tough catch on 3rd down to move the chains, they looked for him. He became their security blanket.
And then we get to the moment that I think officially put him in the history books forever. A moment that brings his whole career, his whole journey full circle.
The aha moment. Super Bowl 58. February 11, 2024. Just 2 years ago. The biggest stage on earth.
I was watching that game and I remember thinking, is there anything this guy can't do?
It was a virtuoso performance, an absolute masterpiece of versatility. So Schwan Jennings caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Which alone is a lifetime achievement.
A lifetime achievement for any receiver. But channeling his old Blackman high school days, channeling that quarterback history we talked about, he also threw a touchdown pass.
It is just insane. A trick play in the Super Bowl.
A trick play against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, no less. He took a lateral pass from the quarterback, paused, scanned the field like a veteran QB.
Didn't panic.
Didn't panic at all.
No.
And threw a perfect dime back across the field to Christian McCaffrey for a touchdown.
I bet that spiral looked pretty good.
It looked perfect. And the significance, he became only the 2nd player in the entire history of the Super Bowl to both throw and catch a touchdown in the same game.
Who was the other one?
Nick Foles, a quarterback. So Jennings is the only non-quarterback to ever do it. It's a statistical anomaly, a piece of trivia that will live forever.
So you have the kid who switched positions in college, got kicked off the team, fought his way onto an NFL roster as a seventh rounder, and then pulled out his old quarterback skills to make history in the Super Bowl.
It connects everything. It connects his Blackman roots as a QB to his NFL reality as a tough-as-nails WR. It's the perfect synthesis of his entire athletic journey.
An incredible story of perseverance.
But just like with Price, we have to look off the field to see the full picture of the man, because that dog mentality isn't just about fighting defenders.
For Jennings, the moment that stands out to me is March 2020. This is right before he gets drafted.
Think about the pressure he was under. It's March. The draft is in April. This is the most stressful time of his life. He's trying to impress scouts, get into the league. But tornadoes had just devastated Tennessee.
I remember that vividly. It was heartbreaking destruction across the middle of the state.
Just ripped through neighborhoods. And Jennings was scheduled for a simple autograph session. He could have canceled. No one would have blamed him.
Right. He could have just focused on his training.
Or just signed the autographs and left. Instead, he turned that session into a massive donation drive. He mobilized his fan base. He used his platform, his name, to gather supplies, water, food for the victims.
That's that empathy again. He fights for his team on the field, and he fights for his people off of it.
It connects his on-field tenacity with his off-field dedication. He saw his community hurting, and he attacked the problem with the same energy he uses to attack a linebacker on a block.
So we have the pioneer, David Price, who brought the precision and the foresight. We have the fire, Juwan Jennings, who brought the passion and the resilience.
Which brings us to our third pillar.
Now, let's talk about the workhorse. Let's talk about Master Teague III.
Master Teague III creates a fascinating bridge in our timeline. He was born on May 19, 2000.
Wait, that's ironically the same year Blackman High opened its doors.
Exactly. He is literally as old as the school's athletic tradition. He's a child of that legacy. He entered Blackman in 2014. Now notice the overlap here.
Right. He was at Blackman for 2 years, 2014 and 2015, while Juwan Jennings was finishing up his tenure.
So you have the current star, the big man on campus, and the future star sharing the locker room, or at least the same campus. That handover of power is real.
The torch is being passed.
It shows the continuity, it shows the culture. Teague wasn't starting from scratch. He was seeing excellence right in front of him every day. He saw Jennings working, he saw the college offers coming in, and it lit a fire.
And by his junior year, fall of 2016, Teague had his breakout.
He exploded onto the scene. And his senior season in fall 2017, looking at the stats here, it was essentially a video game.
Over 2,000 rushing yards. He was a Mr. Football finalist.
But it wasn't just the stats. It was the style. If Jennings is electricity, Teague is granite. He ran with this powerful, upright style. He was a north-south runner.
He wasn't running around, people.
He was running through the structural integrity of the defense. He punished tacklers.
The workhorse really is the right nickname for him.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And that dominance, that raw power, earned him a ticket to one of the biggest programs in college football history, the Ohio State University.
He committed on June 11th, 2017. And this brings us to another why moment. Why Ohio State?
Yeah.
It is famously crowded in that running back room.
It is. They have five-star recruits at every position, especially running back. But Teague didn't shy away from competition. He embraced it. He wanted to measure himself against the best.
And he enrolled early.
He did. He enrolled early in January 2018. He wanted to get a head start.
I feel like didn't waste time is a major theme for Master Teague.
It absolutely is. He is focused. He is disciplined. He got on the field and scored his first touchdown on September 7, 2019. He earned all Big Ten honors in both 2019 and 2020.
As part of some legendary teams, too.
Part of Big Ten championship teams in 2019 and 2020. He played in the college football playoff. He played at the absolute highest level of college ball.
And the Big Ten is no joke. It's physical.
It's a grinders league. And he was a key part of that offense, a perfect complement to guys like J.K. Dobbins and later Trey Sermon. He was the hammer.
So he declares for the NFL draft in January 2022. He spent time with the Chicago Bears and the Pittsburgh Steelers throughout 2022. But what I find most compelling about Master Teague is what happens next. His pivot.
His pivot to what we might call intellectual and personal excellence.
Yeah, looking at the notes here, he didn't just focus on the playbook. This is where he deviates from the typical athlete narrative in a big way.
Deviates beautifully. His mentorship work began in earnest in 2021 while he was still at Ohio State. And then in 2023, he published a book.
A published author, while he is still in his early 20s. That's incredible.
The book is called Legacy of Love. And think about that title. Most athletes wait until they are 40, retired, and looking back on their glory days to write a book.
Right, a memoir.
Teague wrote one while he was in the trenches of trying to make an NFL roster.
That speaks to a very different kind of mindset, a different set of priorities.
It does. He transitioned from carrying the football to carrying a message. His key theme seems to be that excellence isn't just athletic, it's personal. It's about your character, your faith, and your leadership.
Yeah.
He realized very early that the helmet comes off eventually.
Most guys realize that when they're 35 and their knees hurt every morning. He realized it while he was still fast.
Exactly. He was preparing for his life's work while he was still doing his day job, and that intellectual pivot. That's the third pillar of this Blackman legacy. You need the talent, the pioneer spirit of Price.
You need the heart, the competitive fire of Jennings.
And you need the mind, the disciplined character of Teague. It rounds out the trio perfectly.
It really does. You have the trailblazer in Price, you have the fierce competitor in Jennings, and you have the thoughtful leader in Teague. 3 different paths to excellence.
And they all walked the same halls, they all wore the same colors, it all started in the same building.
So let's zoom out here. Let's look at the synthesis of all this. We're standing at the crossroads of excellence here.
We are. If we review the timeline of Blackman High School, it opened in 2000. We mapped the eras. Price is there from 2000 to 2004.
The foundation.
Jennings is there from 2011 to 2015.
The bridge.
And Teague is there from 2014 to 2018.
The continuation.
Yeah.
That is nearly 20 years of sustained elite production.
It proves that this wasn't a fluke. It wasn't one golden generation of kids who happened to grow up on the same street and play Pee Wee ball together.
Right.
It is a tradition. It is a culture that was established by Price and then handed down.
So what defines Black excellence in Rutherford County based on these 3 stories? If you had to build a formula, if you could distill it, what is it?
I think it comes down to 4 distinct phases that they all share despite their different sports and personalities.
Okay, what's phase 1?
First, high-level high school performance. They were all local legends. They didn't just play, they dominated. They were the best player on the field or the court or the diamond every time they stepped out there.
Phase 2.
Second, impactful collegiate careers at the highest level. We are talking SEC and Big Ten. These aren't small schools. They went to the biggest stages in amateur sports and they thrived.
Third, professional achievements. Obvious, but important.
Right. World Series, Super Bowl, NFL rosters. They reached the top of the mountain. They proved they belonged with the best in the world at their craft.
Yeah, and finally, and I think you would agree, this is the most important one.
It is.
The return.
The return to community. This is the crucial differentiator. This is what separates greatness from legacy. Price built the miracle field. Jennings drove the tornado relief efforts. Teague built a mentorship program and authored a book to guide the next generation.
They didn't just take their talent and leave town. They poured it back into the soil that grew them.
That is the definition of a legacy. A lot of people leave their hometown and never look back. They get famous and they disappear. These men ensured that their success was a ladder for others to climb.
So Blackman High School acts as this crossroads where potential meets opportunity.
But these men ensured that the opportunity was shared. They didn't pull the ladder up behind them, they reinforced it and sent it back down.
It really makes you think about the schools in your own neighborhood. You drive past them every single day. You see the lights on the football field on Friday nights, and you never know who is sitting in that classroom or strapping on those pads, getting ready to change the world.
Or change the community. And sometimes that is the same thing. In fact, usually that is the same thing. You change the world by changing your block, your neighborhood, your high school.
Well said. That is a powerful takeaway.
A powerful legacy from one school.
This has been a fascinating journey through time and talent. We've covered 3 decades, 3 sports, and countless moments of greatness. From the mound at Fenway Park to the end zone at the Super Bowl, all roads lead back to Rutherford County, Tennessee.
An amazing story.
This has been episode 7 of our Black History Month series, produced by Jack Diggs Productions.
It has been a pleasure to break this down. It really highlights how special local history can be when you dig into it. And as we always do, we want to turn this back to you, the listener.
We know that Rutherford County is full of stories that haven't been told yet. We just covered 3 giants, but we know there are more. We know there are others.
There always are.
So if you know someone who represents Black excellence in this community, whether from the past or someone doing big things right now, we want to honor them. We want to hear from you.
Send your nominations. Send your stories. Send us the names that need to be remembered and celebrated. You can email us at flyrod02@gmail.com.
Or if you're on social media, you can message Jack Diggs directly on Facebook. Don't be shy about it. If you have an uncle who was a basketball legend in the 80s, or a neighbor who is doing incredible community work right now, let us know.
Your voice helps us tell the full story of this community. We're just the narrators. You are the historians.
And I want to leave you with one final thought tonight. We talked about Price, Jennings, and Teague. We know what they've done. But it raises a question for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Who is walking the halls of Blackman High School right now? Who is sitting in algebra class today, watching those highlights on their phone between periods, and deciding that they're going to be next?
The next chapter is probably being written as we speak. There is a kid right now putting in the work in the weight room inspired by these three pillars.
I love that thought. The legacy continues.